Hey, welcome to Alio's world. If you've never been here before, nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. Actually, I wouldn't trade my life out for any other life on the planet. And I wouldn't wish my life on anyone either. And I don't know, maybe some of you might feel that way too, but that's just the way Alio is, the way God made Alio. Look, this is about the near starvation diet. I learned many years ago about the healthiest, happiest, longest lived animals are kept on a near starvation diet of very healthy food. I thought, wow, that certainly would be convenient because very healthy food, if you like to buy, organic bananas and I mean, I grow these. These are organic, some beet greens, to get some minerals and nitric acid, which is good for blood pressure. And then we got some avocado under there. I put a little bit of sharp cheddar on there. It's got natural colors in it, but there's a little bit of that purple onion that I grew and a little bit of organic jalapeno grown out in the garden. Just tiny bits of that stuff. This is a half of an avocado on here. I already ate the other sandwich or partial half sandwich like this. Why I don't need the top bread. But so the healthiest, happiest, longest lived animals are kept on a near starvation diet of very good food. So listen, I thought, wow, that takes care of a couple different problems right there. One of them being money. I mean, money for organics and all that good stuff is pardon the mess, but this isn't a fucking oh, pardon my language too. This isn't a museum. This is Alio's world, and just happened to have a little bit of some prickly pear kombucha, about 4 ounces there, 5 ounces, and a little bit of beet. I grew these organic beets and carrots, so this is like organic beet, carrot, and a little bit of apple juice mix, which is really, really good. Mwah! And super good for you. And yeah, what for? Well, the beet juice is nitric acid, which is for blood pressure, and these flavonoids and antioxidants that are cell protecting and immune boosting and all of that good stuff. And then the kombucha has got the what do they call it? Diversity bacteria that you need to get into your gut to keep from having the inflamed gut issues, which, and they were finding out that a lot of I remember Andy Wakefield, Dr. Andrew Wakefield, he discovered years ago that these kids that had the inflamed guts were also autistic. And so the gut, the colors in these things are just enough to light your life. Yeah, the gut was affecting whether the autism was affecting the gut or the gut was affecting the autism, whatever, gut health seems to be primary to a lot of stuff. So on this one, look at the cost of a sandwich. I spent, they were kind of pretty cheap down here in Texas. It was like 69 cents for the avocado for the two sandwiches. Just a pinch of the greens. Doesn't take a lot of minerals, and plus I get other minerals from other things. And then I put I cooked a couple of no nitrate pieces of bacon. So there's one piece of bacon on here. And the reason I like to get the bacon in there, aside from, oh my God, everything is so good with bacon on it, in it, and wrapped around it, and soaked in it, and bleeding with it. And so I put the one strip of bacon on here cut in half is under there. And those little purple crisp onions from the garden. I just took a little tiny one and cut it up because you don't need a lot of onion every day for your anti-cancer stuff. But they say a little tiny bit is anti-cancer stuff. And then a little bit of fruit for the slow breaking down sugars. And this is a cool trick I kind of figured out. I only need about that much, sugar and whatever protein and minerals and vitamins and godly things and ungodly things are in there. But it's an organic banana. And the organic bananas at the store, it's like, what is it, like 69 cents a pound for conventional bananas and 79 cents a pound for organic bananas. So why eat the frickin' fungicides? Spring the extra dime. Because now, whether it's organic bananas, organic avocados, nitrate-free bacon, organic vegetables, Dave's Killer bread, which is like five something a pound. I mean, not a pound. I think they're bigger than a pound. Dave's Killer bread is like 16 grains, and they're freaking massive pieces of loaves of bread, big pieces of bread, dense, heavy bread. And yeah, a little more money than a $2 loaf of Wonder bread. You know, white culture Wonder. Is that politically incorrect? Huh. Anyway, white bread, which they say you can squeeze a whole loaf of white bread into the size of a golf ball or something, you know, if you squeeze it hard enough. But this bread, you know, you pay more for it. But remember, we're living on the near starvation diet. So, you know, I'm eating, you know, half of a banana, but I wanted to show you this. Look, you got the other half, and it's like, what are you going to do with it? I found out you can take a piece of tissue or a little chunk of paper towel, and you only need enough. Well, sometimes I'll tear off a piece, but I'm only using one hand, so I won't tear off a piece as big as the end of the banana. And look at this. You stick it on there like that, press it down, and the banana just sucks it up. It sticks to there. And then you can lay it up here in your fruit basket, you know, or wherever you keep your stuff, and just let it kind of dry on there. And then tomorrow morning, you know, I can just kind of rip that off of there, and it takes off that little dried bit of banana that's on there, and you got your, you know, banana ready to go. Those are the organic lemons that I squeeze, you know, about a third of a lemon into my Supergirl tea, which is, you know, I do it morning and night, and it's in here. And people say, oh God, you must spend so much money on getting all these mushrooms and powders. You know, I've got lion's mane mushroom for a brain functioning and immunities, antioxidants, all that good stuff. And then chaga mushroom, which is the thumbs up, man, the highest antioxidant food on in the world. And burdock root for its anti-cancer, immune boosting properties. Dandelion root to take care of prostate problems, prostate cancers. You know, dandelion root's the prostate healer. Then ginger for the anti-inflams and the wonderful flavor. Beet powder. Now, it turns out that only the raw beets, which, you know, fortunately I've been able to grow and juice some beets. The raw beets have the nitric acid in there, which is your blood pressure stuff. But still, the powdered beets, you know, I bought it's like a 2-pound bag of powdered beet. And what else is in there? Stevia for a little sweetener. Xylitol, which is a sugar that helps your teeth instead of hurting your teeth. And let me look at my bottles here, see what else is in there. Burdock, turmeric, a lot of turmeric for, you know, the anti-inflams. And manthista, which is a digestive tract and skin treatment. What else? Dandelion, seaweed. I use seaweed. I'll take a pinch of seaweed and guzzle it down with some water in the morning, because the seaweed minerals, the iodine and the minerals, let the water into your cells for that day. So, and hydration is like so big about everything. So a pinch of seaweed goes with the morning drink. This is, I know this seems like a lot, you know, and it was a lot because I was dumping it out of each of these little bottles and making that tea every morning and every night, you know, because of some of my issues that I'm healing. And but I finally did the math and figured out what the proportions are to make this big jar of those mixes of all those powders, to where I just grab a heaping teaspoon of that stuff into this, you know, Pyrex thing where I can pour my boiling water into there. This was just a leftover thing that I poured some of my leftover sludge into there to drip out into here. But usually I'll just pour those powders down in here, fill it up with water to there, stir it, and let the solids settle down, and then I'll just pour it off to make, you know, a really nice cup of tea, you might say. I poured that cup of tea into this thing. It's actually the Supergirl. I call it Supergirl tea because there was this older lady that had cancer that I was taking this stuff to. And so I called it Supergirl tea. The kombucha, actually, it's kind of confusing. All these things are red, but the red, it's the colors, the flavonoids that we're after in this stuff. So, I'll take I'll go ahead and pour a couple ounces of that prickly pear, which is supposed to be good for your blood sugar level, also the prickly pear. So we got the prickly pear, the beet, apple, carrot juice, and a little bit of Supergirl tea made out of all the stuff that we mixed up into that jar. So, I'll have that morning tea. It's really pleasurable to have all this stuff, but it's very small amounts. Again, we're back to the near starvation diet. So these are very expensive products, but we're trading off very small amounts. So this sandwich, if I look at the cost, I got a 69-cent avocado and not even a nickel's worth of cheese and a 15-cent piece of bread and a homegrown piece of onion and a couple greens and then the whole mess, just these small amounts, it probably adds up to a couple, $2 or $3 for the meal, and I'll be a little bit hungry, pretty soon, and I'll go on till towards the end of the day before I'm ready to eat again. And it might be time to burn a burger. Woo! Get some of them organic homegrown tomato slices, homegrown sweet, crunchy, delectable onion, and we'll pull out the Dave's bread and have something good for dinner too. And not a whole hell of a lot of it. Doesn't take a lot because I'm on the near starvation diet. Remember, the healthiest, happiest, longest lived animals are kept on a near starvation diet of very healthy food. I thought of sprinkling some those yellow nutritional yeast flakes all over this too, and get a couple grams of that pure protein-free amino acids, high B vitamins. Makes my pee yellow, but it does keep the mosquitoes away. So yeah, let's see what. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Healthy, happiest, longest lived, and you save on your grocery bill buying the best food that you can find or grow or whatever it takes to get it. So thanks for visiting me here in Alio's world. I have a hard time finding the time to cut a slot. The other thing I did, there's always another thing, isn't there, about the fruit and the half a banana. I'll take these peels and I'll either throw them in the blender with some water, good water, or I'll just cut them into little sections, or just throw them like this into some water and let them ferment for a couple of weeks, maybe a week to 2 weeks. And then that water, and I'll even leave the little parts and pieces in there if I blend it into a puree. Water some plants with that. You take about a cup of that banana water. Say if I had that container there, and I filled it up to there with banana peels and then up to there with water and blended it, and I'd have this much banana water then fermented. I would take 1 cup of that, pour it into a gallon or 2 of water, and water my, where are they? Let's see. Now I had these canna lilies that somebody had given me. I'm going to take them out and plant them for someone tomorrow. They want some flowers, and I do not want them, but I was helping this lady, and it'll make them bloom. And if I could make my cactus bloom, that would be great too. That probably ain't going to happen. It's hard to do in this part of the world. But for blooming fertilizers, the high potassium and some phosphorus and a little bit of nitrogen, the banana peel fermented water is like blooms, boom, out the wazoo. So that's what we'll do with the peels. Now the reason I want to get some fruit sugar along with my meat, protein, and grease, and the dairy fats along with these carbohydrates on the toast is that back in the 50s, Adele Davis did a study on, it was for energy, the slow energy burn. And what they found out was that, that's cool. What they found out was that to get the long, slow energy burn out of your sugars, You eat a meal, a breakfast with fruit sugar, animal protein, well, not animal protein, protein. Okay, so let me start over. You got fruit sugar source, protein, a little bit of animal fat, a little bit of carbohydrate. I think that was it. Protein, animal fat, carbs, and fruit sugar. And they work together like synchronistically in your body to do a long, long, slow sugar burn of the fruit sugar you got. So, and when your blood sugar level goes down, that's what triggers your stomach to get hungry, you know. And it doesn't matter if you're hungry. I mean, if you do get hungry, you know what? Everything in the world's hungry. And birds, they're all hungry all the time. The dogs, the coyotes, the lion. I mean, they'll eat, once, and then they'll get hungry a few days later, and they get really hungry until they're so freaking desperate they will do anything and chase something down and kill it and crush their skull and eat it, you know. But they're hungry almost all the time. Everything is. But in America, we think, oh no, oh no. This is my oh no guy. Oh no! I'm mighty hungry. I can't handle it. I can't handle hunger. I hate hunger. But, we just accept it that the healthiest, happiest, longest lived animals. Like, I'm pretty thin. I don't know. I'm about 100 and I'm only about 155 pounds and 5'10". I'm getting shorter as the years go on. But, to life, drink. Life is good when it's good. Yeah, so be okay with being hungry. Have balance so you can enjoy some things that aren't perfect health. Come on, don't have perfect health. Have health good enough to still be talking. Thanks again for visiting Alio's world. Alio's world. And God bless everybody, and God bless the world, and let us help with that.